Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of The Awesome C.O.D.Y. As usual, I'm your host, C.O.D.Y, and today we are continuing October 2021's theme of awesome animated movies that are Halloweenish or something like that, whatever I called it. So last week, I talked about the movie Paranorman. I don't know why my brain spaced on that. And then today I will be talking about Boxtrolls, another Laika movie, a movie made by the same company. A couple years later, it was actually the third movie they made. I went over this briefly last week on last week's episode. So Laika, stop motion animation company, they've made several movies. Several, I should say. They've made a handful of movies, really. So if you weren't listening last week or you haven't checked it out, basically they made Coraline based on the Neil Gaiman book. They made Paranorman. They made Boxtrolls, Kubo and the Two Strings, and Missing Link, which was their newest one that came out in 2019. And then they're the people who helped make Corpse Bride and a couple other things throughout the years. And so that's Laika. They're pretty awesome, and so are their movies. So today we are talking about Boxtrolls. Boxtrolls, for the folks who don't know, is a movie based on a novel, loosely based on a novel by a gentleman named Alan Snow. It's a book. It's got illustrations as well in it. The book itself is called Here Be Monsters. You can also find it subtitled as an adventure involving magic, trolls, and other creatures. And it's volume 1 of the Ratbridge Chronicles. You can look it up on Amazon under Here Be Monsters. It's available. I looked it up earlier. Probably available other places, Amazon, but I looked up on Amazon. It's available in paperback with a movie tie-in cover, and then also you can get. Looks like there's a couple of them you can get the hardcover version of it that has Al Snow's original art on the front, and the book itself has over 500 images drawn by Alan Snow that go through the story. Throughout the story in the book itself. So the big thing about this is I haven't read Here Be Monsters. I read the synopsis earlier before recording, and it is different. There's some similarities, character names, and the fact that Boxtrolls are in boxes, that sort of thing. But for the most part, there's a lot of difference in the story. There's some other types of creatures that are not in the movie itself. So one day I was thinking about buying the hardcover one because I was looking at some of the art on the intranet and it looks pretty cool, and I really like the story a lot. So I might just check it out and see what the dealio is. But yeah, that's Here Be Monsters by Alan Snow. Came out in 2005, so it's really not that old. I say that, and it's 16 years old. But when it comes to books that movies are based on, especially fairy tales-ish type things like Boxtrolls. It's not that old, really, when you come down to it. But it's a great, I love this movie, and I'll go a little bit more into it. Not too spoilery for you. But anyways, the movie is jam-packed full of very well-known people, voice actors as well as regular actors. Isaac Hempstead Wright, who plays the character Egg in this, most notably known as the actor who plays Bran Stark in Game of Thrones television show from 2011, I think is when it first started. I'm not actually sure, but yeah, that's there it is. So I mean that's kind of like the what you know him from. You have Ben Kingsley, who plays Archibald Snatcher, which is a great name. He's a pest control person. And you have Ellie Fanning, I cannot talk, who plays Winifred Winnie Portley Rind. You have D. Bradley Baker, who does a voice of a couple of the different Boxtrolls, as well as helped actually develop the language that the Boxtrolls speak when they're not speaking broken English. Fragmented at best English, not even broken English. You have Steve Blum, who also plays a couple of Boxtrolls voices. You have Toni Collette, who plays Lady Catherine Portley Rind, who is Winnie's mother. You have Jared Harris, who plays her father, Lord Charles Portley Rind. And then you have Nick Frost as Mr. Trout. You have Richard. I'm going to say this name, and I always say it wrong, so I pulled up the pronunciation of his last name. Richard Iowadi? I think it's how you say it. I'm not too sure. Probably butchered the shit out of it. But he's a fantastic creative person. He's in one of my favorite British TV shows, as well as the actual, weirdly enough, the American version of it too. And that is the IT Crowd, or IT Crowd, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But he's been in a lot of different things. He actually directs quite a bit of things and produces quite a bit of things. A lot of British shows, obviously, because, he's British and all. But he's been in a lot of different things. He's fantastic. I love him in everything I've seen him or heard him in. And this is definitely one of them. And, of course, like I said, he plays Mr. Pickles, who is a henchman of the dastardly Archibald Snatcher. You have Tracy Morgan, who plays Mr. Gristle, who's also one of the disciples or henchmen of Snatcher. You have Simon Pegg, who plays Herbert Trubshaw. And then you have a couple different people in there that do voice acting and stuff on there. James Urbaniak, I think is how you say his name. I always know him as the voice of Dr. Venture from the Venture Brothers, but he's in this. Plays Sir Broderick, male workman number 1 and male workman number 2. You have Nika Futterman, who does 2 of the Boxtrolls. You have Pat Fraley, who does 2 of the Boxtrolls. A couple different people do a couple different Boxtrolls on there. And a couple cool facts I looked up on this here movie. One of them I thought was actually pretty cool. So because the way it was the voice acting was recorded, all the actors and actresses recorded their parts separately. So Simon Pegg was actually unaware that his best friend Nick Frost participated in the project, and vice versa. So Nick didn't know that Simon Pegg was part of it either. And their characters, for the most part, don't ever interact. But when you're doing voice acting, you're not really in the room with a lot of people. A lot of times you're solo recording. So that's interesting, fun little fact. And I said that earlier, D. Bradley Baker, who voiced Fish, Wheels, and Bucket, names of 3 of the Boxtrolls, helped develop the Boxtroll language that they all spoke in the movie, which is pretty cool. A bunch of other stuff in there. There was where's the cool one? There's something about the props. There's something like, man, what was it? I saw it somewhere. They created 200 something props, miniature props for the movie, because it's prop heavy. There's a lot of stuff in it, and the animation's fantastic. I said this last time when I was talking previously about another one of the movies from Laika last week. I don't know why I said previously. I mentioned it earlier. Last week we were talking about Paranorman, and the animation in that is fantastic. I really think the difference between these two really comes down to the facial animation and the body movements. And there's a really cool thing during the credits. You see 2 of the spoiler alert, former henchmen of Snatcher standing talking, and as the camera starts to pan out, you start to see something, and it's the ghostly image of an animator, and it's actually showing him animate the movement and what's happening on the screen, and it's talking about stop motion. And they did something similar when they did Kobo and the two string, or Kubo and the two strings, or Kubo and the Legend of the Two Strings. What is the name of that movie? Hold on, I always forget what it's called. It's Kubo and the Two Strings. Is that right? That's incorrect. Hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. And I do not know why I can't. I had it up here a minute ago. Just to correct myself, Kubo and the Two Strings. I was right. Okay, Kubo and the Two Strings. Anyhow, they did something similar with that movie. They actually showed you in the credits how they animated one of the monsters in that movie. It was pretty cool. And they do the same thing in this at the end. And it's pretty fun because Richard C.O.D.Y, I think is how you say his name. He actually is him. It's his character and Nick Frost's character, and they're talking. And they're breaking the fourth wall, talking about being animated and how long it would take them to do all that. And you can see it's a pretty cool little thing. And I believe you can probably pull it up on the internet. Someone's probably got it on YouTube or something. I didn't look it up, but you can probably do that because everyone has everything cool is pulled up on the internet somewhere. And so you can kind of see it, and it's pretty neat. So the story is pretty simple. The Boxtrolls are essentially villainized in the story. At the beginning, you find out that they steal a baby, and then that they are accused of eating said baby, as well as snatching other people and eating them too. And they're villainized, and then the pest control people, Snatcher and his crew. Snatcher makes a deal with the head of the Cheese Guild to basically become get a white hat, is what they refer to it, and be allowed to enter the tasting room with the rest of the white hats and taste the finest of cheeses and discuss their like of cheese. And so he sets on his goal to eliminate all Boxtrolls. And doing so, he is capturing him and his henchmen are capturing Boxtrolls. And then you get to see a few years later, Egg is now a grown child, and he is fully indoctrinated into the Boxtroll life. He wears a box that says eggs on it, which is where they get their names from, which is very clever. And so forth, and he meets Winnie one time by accident, and then mysteries unfold, and it's just a fun time. And it's a great movie. Like I said, it's a fantastic story. It's tremendously animated. Voice acting is fantastic by everybody, and very enjoyable. You can watch it. Well, I watched it on iTunes because I own it, but I think I saw it on Netflix. I can't remember. Maybe not. I don't remember if I did or not see it there. I know I watched Monster House, which I'm talking about next week, on Netflix. I don't remember if Boxtrolls was anywhere else. Let's look it up. The Boxtrolls movie. Yes, I know I can play it. On here it just shows iTunes on my phone, but that doesn't mean it's not on ye old Netflix. Let's pop it up real quick. I know a couple of these have been on Netflix. I don't remember if Boxtrolls is one of them. But we'll take a look real quick. Can't type, apparently, all of a sudden. Paranorman is. Monster House is, which I'm talking about. Boxtrolls is not on there. So you can't really watch it on there. But there's other ways to watch it. I'm sure you can find it if you don't want to buy it. It's probably on another streaming service, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, that's Boxtrolls. Check it out if you wish to. It's pretty fun. So tune in next week when I'm talking about Monster House. And then the week after that, I'll be talking about... I know I mentioned this last week if you were listening to me stumble through it. If I remember correctly this time, I looked it up. Let me pull my notes up and make sure that I'm thinking of the right one. Where's my notes? Nope, that is not the right one. Hold on. That is not the right one. Where's my notes with it? I found it earlier. What in the hell is happening here? Where's my notes? Did I delete it by accident? Here it is. Ha ha ha. Hell and Back. Stop motion movie as well. Not all these are stop motion. I was going to do all stop motion, but I really wanted to rewatch Monster House. I know I could have done that without having to record about it. But when I rewatched it, again, like I said, just rewatched it on Netflix, there's a lot of it that actually looks very stop motion. The art style they used for the animation, and I'll go over that next week about it. Reminding me a lot of stop motion. But yeah, Hell and Back is, well, I'll go over that in like 2 weeks. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode of The Awesome with Cody. I have been your host, Cody. We have been talking about the Boxtrolls, and like I always say at the end of these episodes, let's be awesome.